I've got quite a few switches in my Switch review queue, and normally I try to review them in the order that I've received them. But every once in a while, there is a Switch that comes along that I think you need to know about. And I have to say, there's something special about these. These are the X Switch from BSUN, and in a sea of long pole linears that have been released lately, they managed to blow away my expectations. So let's talk about it right after you blow away that like button. The BSUN X, not to be confused with the Gatoron X, is a long pole linear switch with a POC, or polyketone, housing, and a modified LY stem. If you haven't heard of BSUN, they've been around as a company and have been producing mechanical keyboard switches since at least 2017. They're probably most well known for their Invir Panda clone, the BSUN Panda, but they aren't too big in the mechanical keyboard space, as based on their website, they are a general socket and jack manufacturer. Getting back to the X Switch, it has an actuation force of 45 grams and a bottom out force of 52 grams and a total of 3.5 millimeters of travel. They will come factory lubed with a mix of GPL 205 and 105 oil on the sliders, dry lube, which I'm guessing is some type of PTFE on the stem sliders, and also on the spring. Opening up the switches, the lube is definitely noticeable, but I wouldn't consider them over lubed, and it looks as though they are hand lubed based on the brush marks. Now I wanted to talk about the housing, because I think they lead to a very unique sound signature. POC, or polyketone, is a new plastic composition in the MX switch space. Released by BSUN and JWK, it apparently has a coefficient of friction of 0.04, which is beat only by LY, which has a coefficient of friction of 0.03. On the other hand, POM, for example, has a coefficient of friction of 0.2. Lower is better. Ultimately, that means you're getting a smoother switch with less lube, which is usually going to be a good thing. But I think that more than the smoothness, the POC housing leads to a pretty unique sound signature. Take a listen. So right off the bat, these switches are insanely smooth with zero crap sounds, which I was worried about because these switches were apparently made in collaboration with JWK. They offer a phenomenal stock experience, which you know is my soft spot when it comes to switches coming to market in 2023. Because the switch came with a very nice factory lube job, I decided to lube the top housings to see what effect, if any, it had on the sound signature. Take a listen. After lubing the top housings, there's a very subtle tone change, which is to be expected, but I'd say it's totally not necessary. As far as the overall sound signature of the switch, they are definitely poppy and on the clacky side, but the softness of the LY stem and the POC top leads to a very pleasant, mid-heavy sound signature. These aren't brittle by any means, although with my new room setup, the acoustics aren't quite where I'd like them to be just yet. So now let's talk value. They're in group buy now at Unikeys and a few international vendors for an insane price of 46 cents per switch. Now it's not like we haven't seen cheaper switches, but the fact that the X Switch uses a lot of proprietary materials and new materials but still retains a very affordable price makes these a no-brainer for you to pick some up. Especially because switches with LY stems seem to cost closer to 65 cents per switch, which in my book makes them great for experimenting with and Franken switching if nothing else. If you're in the market for a light actuation, long pole linear with a flawless stock experience and great sound for an amazing price, I'd say the BSUN X Switch is a no-brainer. Check out some more keyboard content here. I'm MakerMods, and I'll catch you in the next video.